Hi and welcome back. Today I want to do a little progress update on our tiny house, our shed conversion. So this is really the first several weeks of work that we put into it. We're still in the rough-in phase, so we removed the supports that are going to be the areas for the future lofts. We also uninstalled the existing windows that were in the structure and installed brand new windows. So we did 7 windows total, and that's including 2 loft windows. So it included all of the labor and work that went into that. So we ended up going with foam board insulation for the ceiling. In a perfect world, we probably would have just done the spray foam, but the problem with that was if we had booked a spray foam specialist to come in and do the whole space, yes, that would have been much faster for us because they could have come in and probably done it in like a couple of hours. They weren't able to come until like the beginning of November. We want this project to be wrapped up ideally by the middle of October, which is super ambitious and it may not happen that way, but that's what we're kind of aiming for. So total man hours, it was about 35, and that included deconstructing the inside. So there was shelving and there were some supports that needed to be moved and removed, and then they will eventually be relocated. Uninstalling the windows that were existing, installing all new windows, cutting and installing the foam board insulation for the ceiling. And so it doesn't sound like a whole lot of tasks, but the problem with it, the structure itself is not completely uniform. So when we started measuring the studs on the ceiling, or like, the ceiling supports there, they were all just like a little bit different, or, within like 1/4 of an inch to like an inch different. So it's not like we could do uniform cuts and just make a whole bunch of them. They were actually like very specific to that individual bay between the wood supports. So we could have obviously sped up the process by just cutting it to the smallest bay and then calling it a day, but we do want it to be as airtight as possible and as fully insulated as possible. So we did take the time to individually do it, so it is really tight fitting, and which hopefully will help with, keeping the building nice and insulated. Mostly my husband, I will say, like, it took him about 35 hours total, and that was over the last couple of weeks, and that was with some bigger chunks of time on the weekends, some random hour here, hour there after work in the evenings, and so about 35 hours for all those tasks. But what also slowed down the process is all of the work is being done on site. So inside of the shed, it's not really enough room to kind of cut and use the saws and all the tools. So we relied on good weather. We have to pull out all of the saws. Electricity has to be dragged to it and set up outside on the lawn in front of that shed. And then it's like it started raining a couple times. There was a lot of like start and stops. And I think, in a perfect world, we would have, a couple of weeks straight, or if we had separate childcare for our kids or something, that would obviously help. We're trying to track the exact cost as well as the number of hours invested into this project, just for our own reference and just because we'll be curious to see what it comes out at. I hope you enjoy this little update. We're going to be doing hopefully weekly updates. Thanks for watching, and I hope to share a lot more progress very soon. Take care. Bye.